Friends, a lot of people find IELTS quite difficult, and that is the reason a lot of preparation programs are there. IELTS Precision Program does it differently because we want to give you total clarity as to what the exam is and what it actually requires to get you to your desired band score. You might know IELTS is of two different types: IELTS academic and IELTS general training. IELTS general training is easier in reading and writing parts, while listening and speaking are all the same in both of these types of exams. Now let's discuss all the four skills of IELTS listening, reading, writing, and speaking briefly one by one. IELTS listening is a very interesting exam. The good news about IELTS listening is no difficult vocabulary or grammar is there in IELTS listening. But you have to face very complex questions in IELTS listening. Sometimes you have to multitask a lot in certain questions which are quite complex. So that is the difficulty that you have to face in IELTS listening. In IELTS reading, the first difficult thing that you have to face is the language itself, because in IELTS reading you have to encounter very complex grammar and very rare or complex vocabulary as well. The second thing that you have to face in IELTS reading is complexity of the questions. Some questions are so complex and you require so much time to solve them that if you don't have a proper technique to solve them, you may get confused and you may lose a lot of time while they're in the examination hall. IELTS writing expects you to write essays and letters or reports under very strict requirements. You have to follow the exact pattern as dictated by Cambridge ESOL, otherwise you don't get the desired band score. And also in IELTS writing, you have to display your own range of vocabulary and grammar, and for that you have to especially take care that you develop your writing in a way that you get a chance to showcase your range of vocabulary and grammar. IELTS speaking, normally people find IELTS speaking way easier compared to other parts. The difficulty in IELTS speaking that you normally find is developing your ideas, particularly when you have to speak on your own for 2 minutes. And also in third part of IELTS speaking, where you are asked to respond to questions about some workplace scenarios or some occupational scenarios. Sometimes students lack such exposure and they find it difficult to talk about those things. Again, in IELTS speaking, in order to show that your range of grammar and vocabulary is quite wide, you need to have some ideas to talk about. These are the four parts in which IELTS assesses your language ability. And as we said, it's a test of language ability, or IELTS is a test of English language. So that's the basic thing. You need to be as good in English language as your band target requires. For example, if your band target is 6, you need to be at B2 level, and if your band target is 7, then you need to be at C1 level of English language ability. So broadly speaking, there are 3 things that you require to get your desired band score. And the first and the basic thing is English language ability. The second thing is your understanding of the exam format itself. So the complex questions don't trap you to lose your time. So you can navigate through all the questions efficiently without wasting any time. And thirdly, in modules like speaking and writing, you need to have some ideas, you need to have some arguments, you need to have some examples so that you may discuss them or you can write about them, so you can display your lexical and grammatical range. In this program, we'll cater to all your needs related to IELTS preparation. It's needed, will improve your English language ability as well. There are separate tests and resources to develop and assess your grammar and vocabulary. And there are exam techniques and there are exam practices. And finally, there are also some resources where you can improve your argumentative knowledge so that you may have a lot of ideas and arguments and examples to fill all the gaps in your writing and speaking. To keep the whole process of this preparation quite interesting and encouraging, we'll start from the easier parts and move to the difficult parts later. So we'll start with language ability, and after that we'll start with listening, then we'll move on to reading, writing, and finally we'll prepare for speaking, because speaking requires a lot of initiative from you, so I've kept it at the end. So good luck for your preparation.